guys, I'm Mrs. Baxter. Let's talk about adding and subtracting decimal numbers. Now, when we add and subtract decimal numbers, we can follow the same steps that we use to add and subtract whole numbers. But we must keep all of our place values in order. One of the easiest ways to do this is to make sure that we always line up our decimal point. Let's take a look at this addition problem here. We have 4 6/10 plus 12 17/100 plus 23. I'm going to rewrite this problem vertically so that I can make sure I keep all of my place values in the same column. I begin with 4 6/10. Next, I add 12 17/100. Now, I'm going to make sure that the decimal point in 12 17/100 lines right up here with the decimal point from 4 6/10. That means I have to offset my other numbers a little bit to keep the ones in the same column and the tenths in the same column. I then added a hundredths place and a tens place. Now, I can add in my third number, which is the whole number 23. Now, whole numbers do have imaginary decimal points in them. We can put a decimal point just to the right of our whole number and add as many zeros to the end of that as we need to. So 23 with our decimal point just to the right of that whole number. Now I have all of my numbers ready to go. I have all of my place values nice and lined up, but I notice that there's lots of empty spaces. I can fill these empty spaces with zeros because adding a 0 to the end of a decimal number doesn't change its value at all. Just like adding a 0 right here in the tens place doesn't change the value of my 4 in the ones place. Now that everything is nice and orderly and lined up, I'm ready to add using the typical algorithm, this time ensuring I can get the correct answer because I'm keeping everything nice and organized. Giving me a final answer of 39 77/100. Now let's try this with a subtraction problem. Okay, so here is our subtraction problem. 46 103,000 minus 2 4400. To begin subtracting, I'm going to set it up just like I did with addition, making sure I line up my decimal points and keep all my place values in the correct order. So 46 103,000 minus, now I need to keep this decimal point right underneath my first, so I will have 2 4400. Again, I can fill those empty spaces with zeros and subtract using our typical algorithm. Giving me a final answer of 43 663,000. So remember, when adding and subtracting decimal numbers, just be sure to keep those decimal points nice and lined up.